Hello and welcome to Microsoft Hates Greg. My name is Greg Deckler, and I realize it's been a little while since even posted a video, and we'll get to that. There's reasons behind that, however. But it was, before we get started down and all that, I noticed this last night because somebody posted something about the November update coming out. So I went out and checked, and it's like the October update is already out, right? So here's the October feature summary, but for whatever reason, they start featuring the September feature summary at the top of the blog page, which normally this is the latest and greatest, right? So I don't know, man. The quality control over at Microsoft has just gone absolutely downhill. This I just Come on, man, get your act together, guys. All right, so anyway, the reason I've been absent on video editor, I've been heads down writing books. So what happened was I went down to San Antonio to go speak at the Summit NA. It's the big Dynamics 365 user. It's the biggest one that there is for the year, user summit, big conference. Well, now the company I work for had a booth down there, a nice 2020 by 20 booth right across from Microsoft. So I had fun, putting the little banana pickle math stickers on their desks every morning before the conference, before the exhibit hall opened, right? The good old banana pickle maths. So they're probably wondering where those were coming from. So I had fun doing stuff like that, and I was also speaking down there. So I was speaking at the conference on Power Platform governance. Um, Anyway, long story short, that all kind of got me behind in the books that I was writing, which are the third edition of Learn Power BI and DAX for Humans, the one I'm writing as a community project on Patreon. So I came back and I was already like behind, in terms of one of my due dates for one of my chapters for the Learn Power BI third edition, and I hate missing deadlines in that. So I sort of went into, heads down mode, where basically all of my spare time was done writing books. And the good news around all of that is this one, right? Yeah, if I show this right here. So basically, I've got all of the first drafts done. So I was behind on like chapter four. And so I just started knocking out chapter four, chapter five, chapter six, chapter seven. I just went on down the line. The only two that I have left are chapter 13 and 14, which are going to be on Fabric and Copilot. So adding those into the books. And so, yeah, so just to give you this kind of a sneak peek here, let me find like this one right here. So this is Unlocking Insights. This is the third edition, right? So I've got like, my track changes are turned off because otherwise it'd be a mess because a lot of this stuff has been changed and revised. Pretty much everything in the book has been, well, basically everything in the book has been changed, revised, updated, etc. So some of the nice things that I think, again, still your step by step, go through and how to build stuff and that sort of thing. But one of the nice things I added to this one, and we'll get down to it, the creating roles. So here, like the step by step directions, and I always had like, kind of like, hey, we'll highlight stuff. But now what I've done is I've gone in and I did this in DAX for Humans where I started doing this. But I've gone in and actually added the steps. So if you can actually follow along with these steps. So like step three is, click the new button again, rename the role Cleveland, set it, select the people tab, do the filter, right? And so it actually sits here. And so this is step three, step four, step five, step six, seven, eight, nine. Step 10 is actually repeat these again, and then step 11 is, save and close. So I think it adds a lot. It'd be great. I haven't heard definitively on whether this book is going to be printed in color or not. I really hope it is. I think that really added a lot to Power BI Cookbook, second edition, which if you, or third edition, second edition. I lose track of these things. I think it's the third edition of Power BI Cookbook, is in color. And I think that really adds a lot to the book. And I know it's been a complaint with some of my books in the past that I've written with PAC that they have not been in color. So yeah, so this is, so again, a lot of I was kind of surprised by some of the, and I really am still debating on what do I want to include preview features, how many preview features do I include, especially with the on visual editing and that sort of thing. So anyway, still kind of coming to a determination around that. It's always, that stuff's been in preview for forever. I don't know if it's ever going to get out of preview. It's always kind of hard to determine that sort of stuff with Microsoft. So anyway, the good news is I don't have to worry about any, about the learn Power BI second edition right now, because I've built myself up some time. Um, Here I can show you the schedule for it. So the schedule, right? So I don't need chapter 13 or 14 until basically December and January. So I built myself a buffer so I won't freak out and like just, spend every waking moment that I have available to me just writing, this book or whatever, because it's in good shape right now, I feel like. But that also put me behind the eight ball with DAX for even more with DAX for humans. But I was able to get chapter 3 out um, just yesterday. I put it up on Patreon for feedback. And it's all about dates and calendars in that. So basically, I think it does a really good job of basically excoriating DAX's time intelligence functions. It really goes in depth and shows why they're just bad to use. They don't support financial. Well, heck, I mean, it's in the summary, right? You know, we demonstrated fundamental flaws, right? The general inability to handle custom fiscal calendars, inability to handle week periods, inability to work with single table data models, semantic models, inflexibility, consistency, and their difficulty in debugging, right? Those are just fundamental flaws. And I mean, you have to end up going, and it really promotes the offset method, which has always been advocated by Brian Julius. And it really goes in depth and shows how to do that for period to date, previous period to date, rolling periods. Here's some really cool stuff in rolling period. This is a rolling 3 year to date average. So basically, what this does is this allows you to say, hey, today's November 11th and November 9th, right? Well, I want a 3 year rolling average, but I only want to compare from previous years up until November 9th, the equivalent of November 9th, right? So I think that's a really cool metric in terms of stuff that's kind of difficult to do with DAX time intelligence functions. Quite honestly, a lot of the functions they want to compare if it's a previous period, they want to compare the full period, right? So anyway, really cool stuff I think. And again, you could see up here, I've got the same kind of concept of hey, here's the steps. Here's 1, 2, 3, and actually documenting within the visual itself. So that's why I have not been making videos lately. That and a bunch of other stuff going on in my personal life and everything else. It's been a little nuts. So I wanted to give everybody an update. I actually do have a bunch of ideas for new videos in that I'll be getting to. The word on the street is a November update's coming out, and it has the card, the new card visual has a small multiple in it, which is actually fairly interesting to me. I actually have a use case for it currently, but too bad it's going to be in preview. But anyway, that is all I had for this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and see you next time.